Hello, career thought leaders. Good to see you here today. And we are like a live stream marathon today. Just got off of the live stream with the Thought Leadership Branding Club. And now we're doing our live. And then we're going to be live with Angie Callan and the Momentum Coach Awards here in just a minute as well. Say hello. Let us know that you're joining us. Today, we're going to be talking about how we can help our clients go from invisible to intentional. And I love this idea of helping people really be thoughtful in how they want to build their brand online, because it isn't about being everything and everywhere and being an influencer. It's about getting into and being visible in and engaged in the conversations that you want to be participating in. And we're here every Tuesday for the Trend Tuesday Live, talking about the now, the new, and the next in careers. And we are excited to be getting ready for our digital branding class, as well as our in-person symposium coming up April 6th. But it's really about how career professionals can help individuals use these tools to build visibility. And this is critical right now when we're looking at a tough job market. How do you stand out? How do you cut through the noise? Literally, right? When there's thousands of applications for online roles right now, you can use these digital tools to do that, but not if you've got these beliefs in your head. So we're going to be going through 5 beliefs or things we hear from clients that we can reframe or reposition to help them get started or be more successful and effective with their digital branding. So say hello in the chat. Let us know that you're joining us. And I'll look forward to hearing what you think about our 5 fears, beliefs, whatever we want to call them. Thanks, Nancy. Good to see you here today. So let's get started. And I'm going to talk about the first fear that I think gets people in trouble on LinkedIn is they will say, I'm not trying to be an influencer. I don't want to be a content creator. I don't need to post online. And that is true. You do not need to post online to be visible or to be effective. So let's think about what you do need to do to achieve your goals. And when we're talking to clients, this is the number one thing, is connecting whatever solution we have to their goals and their way that they want to approach it. Because it doesn't matter what's the most effective way if they won't do it. We want to find the things that they'll do. And there's so many opportunities online. That's actually part of what's overwhelming, perhaps. But when we narrow it down to what works for you, where is your audience, the opportunities start to contract just enough that we can have a choice. So what communities do you want to join? Because it's not about content creation, views, clicks, none of that. We're not trying to make you an influencer. We're trying to get you engaged visibly, if possible, in conversations that your industry is having. That doesn't necessarily mean they have to be visible to everybody on the web. They do need to be visible to your target community. So we've talked about a lot of different ways you can do that, right? That could be a Slack channel. It could be a Facebook group, LinkedIn group. It could be on the public feed on LinkedIn. It could be on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky. It really doesn't matter as long as your community is there having conversations and you want to do whatever it is, writing, connecting, commenting. Almost every platform has many different ways you can be engaged, but you have to be interested in being engaged on that platform. And there has to be some amount of visibility. So Snapchat, although it's great, probably isn't a good fit because, again, there's just not that long-term visibility. Even in a private Slack channel with people from your professional industry association or whatever, there is visibility, right? Other people are seeing your comments, your posts, your engagement in that private channel. And that's all that matters. We don't need it to be visible to the World Wide Web. Now, we're going to talk about in a minute some technologies that may make it better if you are visible to the World Wide Web, but that's not necessary. Build a digital brand. Digital branding means that you are building that online presence, which, again, there's a visible piece of it to everyone, but there's also the visibility to the audience that matters to you. We're not trying to be famous. We're trying to build visibility in your audience. And that's a difference that has happened in branding, and specifically in thought leadership branding, or especially job search type of branding, is it doesn't need to be to everyone. You've got to pick your level of visibility, whether that's, kind of the industry association or industry as a whole, if you're getting a little bit bigger visibility, or of course you might be visible to the entire internet, and that's up to you. But you can start where it's comfortable and work from there. So the second one kind of goes right along with that, is the fear of, I don't know what I want to be known for, or what do I say? So typically what clients will say is, what do I say, or what do I post? But what they really mean is, like, what do I want to be known for? Who am I? Who do I want people to see me as? And that is such a powerful conversation. I love it when people ask that question, because it goes so much deeper than what do you post. It's thinking about, what do you want to be known for? What are your strengths? What are the areas of credibility that you bring to everything that you do? And then what are and I was just saying this yesterday in a different forum, but what are the stories that come together to demonstrate that credibility, or that build why that's important to you? So maybe you're a leader in the tech space. Why did you move into leadership? Why is that important to you? What are those early stories of good leaders, of bad leaders, of your own leadership that have built you into the leader you are today? Because when we look at those stories, we start to see your unique style of leadership building and coming through. And then we say, okay, you want to be known as a tech leader, but we can see, okay, you want to be known as a tech leader who is great at the virtual team engagement, is able to build people into the next leader, whatever it might be. You're looking at those themes in your own stories so that you can pull out your unique brand of how you do what you do, why you do what you do. That makes you different, but it also builds that story of, hey, this person is a leader in tech, better than you just, reposting other people's articles or whatever it might be. Now, there's a time for that and a space for that. And when you bring your own flavor to it, it's going to resonate and stand out so much more. So that's one of the things that we want to help our clients do. What do you want to be known for? What are your areas of credibility, and what stories have brought you to this point in that area? Why is it important to you? There's always stories behind that, right? And then what do you do? What's your unique approach to it, and all of the stories behind that? And it's almost like the preparation for an interview, but in a different, more specific way, that we're going to have this story library then of things that people can pepper in while they engage with people, or post, or even share other people's content. They're always going to have those little snippets of story that they can bring in that show who they are as a leader, what they value, what they bring to the situation, so that it's different, it stands out, and it consistently builds their brand. So it's not just about what they want to post about, but it's this deep look at, what are you credible in? What are those stories behind it? And then also all pairing that with, what does your audience care about? Because you may have some great stories, but if they don't resonate with your audience, it isn't going to matter. So you're looking at those connection points between who are you and what does your audience care about. But I always start with getting some of those stories out. Then we can bring the audience piece in and filter it down to the stories that are really going to connect the most with them. Yay. All right. I love it when you two are connecting in the comments. Look at that, Valerie and Cindy. It's been a while since I've heard from either of you. I'm glad to see you're doing well and you're here. Barb, yes. Excellent. All right. So we are starting our next personal branding strategist class here. And as I see Barb, I'm like, Barb. So Barb is getting started in that class again. And we do it every 6 months, but every year people repeat in the process to get updated and to rejoin the community. We actually get together every third Thursday as well, but we stay together, we stay connected, because these things change so quickly. But there's always this piece of it that doesn't really change, and that's your stories. So that's the second fear. I don't know what to say. And it's really, what do I want to be known for? Then the third piece, and I feel like this is a little less for some people, But maybe the technology gets overwhelming, or we get the shiny object syndrome related to the technology. I just saw someone in our Facebook group posting like, "Oh, has anyone used this tool to write your LinkedIn posts?" Use what works for you. I wouldn't recommend at your beginning stages paying for a tool. Start with the things we already have. So once you get the topics you want to talk about, you get some of your stories down, and you know your audience, you can build an audience persona for free in ChatGPT. You can put in your content themes, and you can ask it to help you brainstorm content. Boom, there you go. You can even have it help you write out some posts, but be careful because every post needs your story in it or something about you, your approach, or it isn't going to work. Now, if you have content out there that you've written, you can plug that into ChatGPT and it can take that and make something from it, and it will be more in your voice from the beginning. Yes, you can program ChatGPT to be more in your voice, although I've had some, I don't know, mixed results on doing so. I think it's really important you're thinking about your customer or your audience, your employer that's going to hire you. What do they care about? What are the challenges they're dealing with? And how does what I'm saying relate to them? That's most important. And then getting your story pieces woven in there as you're sharing anything. But here's the thing, as we're going to talk about next. And remember, going back to our content creation fear, it really doesn't have to be about content. And there's some simple tricks that you can use to make it easier to engage that don't cost any money. And once you are doing those things consistently, then you could see, could this be more efficient with a tool? I've seen some big LinkedIn people recently promoting tools. It's great, right? We love to promote tools that work for us. And usually there's a win-win where we might get a little bit of a kickback, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it doesn't mean that you need to do it today. Get started first at the things that really matter. I use saved search URLs in LinkedIn. I'll drop the link on how to do that. I went through that, I don't know, about a year ago. I use saved search URLs in LinkedIn. I put them in my calendar so that certain times of the day I go in and I click on that link, and boom, I have a customized feed of just the people that I want to engage with. Yes, I look at the bigger feed too, but every day I'm making sure I touch base with those people who need to know me and who I want to stay in a relationship with, right? Virtual relationship. So that piece of it can be easy. Engagement first, use the free tools to figure out your posts. And then when you find you're in a place that you could use more support, or you're getting to where you might want to have more efficiency, then worry about the tools. You can schedule your posts. You just have to go in and engage around it. But scheduling can make sure that you have the time and energy to engage because you're not worried about writing up that post right then. Having a plan, having a structure, but you can use something simple like any of the project management tools or even a spreadsheet to set that up so that you have a plan and a structure and you have a place to capture content. That's what really matters. Yes, there are paid tools that can help you do that, and they can help you post and all those things, but just start simple. Keep it simple to start so that you can just focus on what matters, which is the relationships, the engagement. So this gets into our next fear, which is, again, kind of getting back to, I don't want to post, or I don't know what to post. I'm going to wave my little magic wand and say, good for you. You don't have to post. I don't recommend that people start with posting, especially on LinkedIn. I've hit on this a couple of times in the last few weeks, but it's important. If you start posting out of the blue on LinkedIn and you're posting every day, you are actually probably going to see crickets, and it's going to get worse. Because when you post a lot on LinkedIn and you don't get any engagement, LinkedIn says, oop, this person's spammy, and they start to kind of gray list you, let's say, because they don't like shut you down, but you don't get seen by as many people. Start with engagement first instead. And every time I take a break, because it happens to all of us, right? Whether it's health or family or vacation, please take one. When you come back, do the same thing. Warm it up by commenting for a few days before you dive into posting again. It will help you get more engagement, which for all of us feels better and more motivating. So you can warm it up before you get that engagement. When you comment, you also find out what are other people posting, and it kind of brings down the fear a little bit of posting because you see what everyone else is posting, and you can decide is there a place where I want to add my voice? But you don't even have to. A lot of people on LinkedIn are super successful, whether that's business or job search, by building engagement and having conversations rather than posting content. It really comes back to your goals. What are you trying to achieve? And what actions are going to get you to that goal? So I love that. Um, so we don't have to make it about posting. Don't let that fear get in your way. Start with the engagement. Now, if you don't know what to comment, here's my little 3-part comment tip. First, compliment the person who's posting. Thank you for bringing up this topic. I really like your point about X. You don't have to be fake, just be nice. Be kind, right? Even if you don't agree with them, you can say thank you for bringing up this topic. Then add your own thoughts, a sentence or two. Doesn't have to be long. When I'm working with people, I found X, or as a leader, I found Y, or, one of my favorite bosses was this because of that. Something that weaves in just a little bit of your brand and your story. If we wrote the stories that we were talking about just a few minutes ago, you can pull from them, weave them in here. Doesn't have to be long. Avoid self-promotion. Avoid pointing back to your own resources, especially consistently. Do it every once in a while. But when I see you consistently posting your own stuff as a resource, it feels like you're there for you, not for the other person. And the whole point here is relational. And so if it feels like you're just about you, it's not going to work. So post those things that share and give your stories, and don't worry about self-promoting, but do worry about weaving in the things that show what you do and how you do it. But that can be done in a story, doesn't have to be done in a self-promotion. Then at the end of your comment, so we connected, we said thank you, we put in our own thoughts. Then we ask a question of the person who posted, or we bring someone else in the conversation. This is that connection piece. So I envision myself at a networking event, and I'm going up and I'm talking to Valerie, and Valerie and I are having a conversation. She's gave me something and I've responded. And that's how I like to think of when I'm commenting on LinkedIn. What would I say to Valerie if we were in person at an event? And then I'd ask her a question, right? I wouldn't just like say my thing and leave. I'd say something, I'd ask her a question, or I'd say, "Hey, Cindy, come in here and this is a great topic that Valerie's talking about. What do you think?" That connection, those relationship pieces, that's why we're there. So don't forget that piece. And if it helps you, it helps me to think about it as if we were there in person. Then the last thing that we have here in terms of our fears is I don't want to sound salesy. Then don't. Just be there, connect, add value, support other people. Don't forget to tell your stories, but they don't have to sound salesy. It's all about sharing value and your expertise. Now, sharing value does not mean that you have to answer every person's question, give away all your resources for free. That's not what we're talking about. It's just being there to support, to give some resources, and to occasionally, yes, especially if you're in business, to share those things that you offer as well. Just don't do that on other people's posts. Those are for your own posts. And so we want to be engaging in conversation, and we want to do it in a way that builds relationship. That's why we're there. And when you do that, for me at least, it makes it less fearful because I'm not there trying to promote myself. I'm not there trying to, build visibility. I am there to build community, to meet new people, to stay in touch with the people. I mean, isn't this just such an amazing thing that we can stay in touch with and maintain relationships with people that we haven't seen for years or that we've never even met in person? That's the goal. And we know in our data as well as our heart, we know that when we do that, when we focus on the relationships, when we're really there to engage and build community, that the business or the job will follow. Now, if you're an active job search or your client's an active job search, we may want to be more active, and there are some that, but it still doesn't need to be salesy. It can be conversational. It just is going to be more direct. Hey, I saw you had a posting on this. I recently saw this person posting about that. Thought they might be a great fit for you. So we can make those connections, not even just for ourselves. And of course, we're going to reach out to those recruiters and say, hey, I saw you were posting about this. I'd be interested in learning more. But now, hopefully, we've built the relationship, commenting on their comments or engaging with their company posts or something, so that we already have a little bit of a warm room to step into versus just a cold call. And that's how we can help our job seekers get over the 5 fears. Again, our 5 fears were: I'm not a content creator. Good, you don't need to be one. Start with relationships. Don't know what I want to be known for. Figure out how your credibility connects to the conversations your audience wants to have. I don't get the tech. Start simple. Write your posts, use ChatGPT for help, focus on your audience and your stories, and don't worry about all the scheduling and AI assisted comments at first. Create those saved searches and be there authentically to engage with the people in your community. I don't know what to post. I don't want to post. Again, start with the comments. Use the 3-part comment formula where you're giving some kind of collegial welcome. You're sharing your content, your credibility, and then you're bringing in the relationship to build the community by asking a question or inviting someone else into the conversation. And then you don't want to sound salesy. Good. No one wants you to be salesy. Just share those authentic stories. Be there for the reason of connection and building relationships and trust. And the results will follow. The windows to make any direct opportunities happen will come up, and you can step into them when they do happen. I hope that's helpful for all of you. We are continuing the live stream marathon today, and I'll be on shortly with Angie Callum for the Momentum Coach Awards. And I will see you all next Tuesday for Trend Tuesday Live. Thank you, everyone.